Hey everybody, it's Amanda.
And Rick.
And we're here to answer your DoorDash questions live. All right. We promised that we are going to answer all of the relevant questions in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and I am going to do that. Since we are live, I do want to give everybody an opportunity to join us in the chat so I don't have to repeat the answers to the questions. So give me about 5 minutes before I start talking about that. I'm going to share the links, let everybody know that we're here. And we're going to talk about it here in just a few minutes. In the meantime, maybe you can tell them about how we went today for a second DoorDash trip.
Yeah, we did go.
Just give them a little overview.
We did go again today. I guess we filmed first time. That was Monday.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw that video, that was actually Monday's video. That went well. Pretty much you saw everything that happened for the most part.
Definitely.
Today, we didn't actually film. Did we go on as many stops? I don't think we did.
No.
I think we did like 11 that first day. We went just as long this time as we did Monday.
Yeah, we did the same 3.5 hours.
But today was a little different. I think Monday it was mainly all what you would think of when you think of DoorDash. You think of, picking up food and taking it to people's houses. Today we did shopping and things.
Yeah, we'll talk more about all the different things that we did later, but we did do a variety that's very, very different from the last time. This experience was very different than the last time. So when we do talk about the numbers and everything, we're going to talk about the other time first because I haven't had a chance to sit down and crunch the numbers for today. But we're going to tell you a little bit about what we did. Yay! Gwen said she did her first hour and a half today and she earned $25.
Yeah.
Good job.
When you actually see the money starting to show up there on your phone, you kind of get excited.
Yeah.
The Monday, I think it seemed amusing to me, like, that's something to do. And then when you saw some money showing up, you'd say, oh, okay, well let's go to another one, kind of deal. Today, weather was kind of a factor though. Monday it was clear and everything was fine, and today there was a certain part of our time out today that was coming down pretty good, rain and such. And I'm not trying to be a baby or anything, but you without an umbrella, you kind of got to run. I didn't mind when I was just getting wet.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had some food for somebody, and we left the restaurant and we were going to the car to take it to them,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to get someone's food wet. So I, you kind of, how do you prepare for that? I guess you bring an umbrella. I don't know.
Well, I had actually planned to bring a different pair of shoes because I had on flip-flops and I knew it was going to rain. So I planned to bring a different pair of shoes and I actually left it at the house. So I ended up being in the flip-flops in the rain. It's just how it was. So.
And I try to cover it when it was raining. I was trying to cover it kind of like this kind of thing and hover over it and kind of run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a mess. But anyhow, but all in all, it's been 2 good experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Enough that I think that at the very least, I can see a third time coming.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go beyond that. We may do it beyond that, but I'm saying after the first 2 experiences, I feel like we can go again. Kind of curious to do it somewhere else. We did it in the same place twice, for the most part.
Hey, Brianna's here. She said, "Did you not bring the bag with you?"
Oh, the bag for put the stuff in it?
I forgot the bag. Yeah.
The insulated bag or whatever?
Yeah.
No, that's we do have a bag that was provided by the DoorDash folks, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we these are the conversations we have in the car as we're driving. Oh, we forgot this, we forgot that.
Yeah. Because you always think that you brought everything, but you didn't.
No.
Yeah, but we're still new. We're still new.
But so far, all the folks that we have met, none of them have been offended. Like, hey, where's the bag? But I will.
And I'm taking short trips.
Short trips.
So it's not really.
I will say this though, and we'll talk more about it probably as we go. But Monday was real smooth. Today there were some kind of ups and down bumps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad our first day was smooth.
Mm.
Because if the bumps had been on the first day, I don't think we would have gotten to day 2. But at least I have been more discouraged about it.
All right. Well, we're about at our 5 minutes, and we want to make sure we give you all the information everybody asked for within the first 10 to 15 minutes. So the first question that everybody wanted to know, was, can you make money doing DoorDash? And the answer to that is yes. And the questions were all about the gas expense and the taxes and the insurance, and then, what your breakdown hourly cost would be. So I did take what we made from that first trip and I broke it down, and I got some specific answers on some things, and I'm going to share it with you. So that first trip, that first day, we did DoorDash for 3.5 hours, and we made $79.25. Okay, $79.25. We were actually pretty excited about that, which, just in and of itself, I mean, not counting any expenses, $79.25 for let me break it 3.5 hours just to be truthful. Divided by 3.5, that was like $22 an hour. Right. And the thing about it is, if I'm going to break down the cost of taxes and gas and all of that, insurance, but if you were working a regular job and you made $22.64 an hour, right, you would still have to pay taxes from that hourly pay, and you would still have to spend gas to drive back and forth to your job. So a lot of people don't, when they get hired at a regular job, they don't say, well, I don't know, after taxes and after gas, I don't know if it's really worth it for me to work a regular job. You know what I mean? You have an hourly salary, and you understand that taxes are going to come out of it, and you understand that there's going to be expenses. You're probably going to need work clothes. You're probably going to need to take lunches. There are things that come with a regular job. So I think that, I don't know what it is where people look at this as like it's any different than a regular job, except the fact that you're driving. So there's this fear that you're spending more gas and you're spending more expenses. But given that you could do this in your sweatpants and you don't have to buy fancy clothes or go get your hair and nails done, you know what I mean? I think the expenses will really balance out, but I'm still going to break it down to you what it costs. But I would encourage you, if you want to make a true comparison, consider what you make at your regular job. Do you make $22.64 an hour? Some of you might, some of you might not. And what the gas costs for you to do that job. And we're going to talk about that. And, have you thought about how much taxes that you take out? Probably not. You just know that they're going to get taken out. You know that they're going to take out your insurance and all of those things. And that's just part of what happens when you have a job. So it's very reasonable that it's going to come out of this one as well. So anyway, out of that $79.25, I looked it up. Self-employment taxes are 15.3%. But I also understand that there's going to be other expenses like wear and tear on your vehicle, and maybe you want to get a DoorDash shirt or something, right? So what I decided to do was to give it, there's going to be more than 15.3%. So just for taxes and other expenses, not counting gas, we'll talk about that in a second, I decided to go ahead and take off 20%, right? Just because I think that basically will cover what the expenses are. So 20% of that $79.25 is $15.85. So that brought the total down to $63.40. If you took that, 20% off the top just to cover all of your expenses, right? So then the gas cost. So first I want to say about the gas, in the entire 3.5 hours that we drove that first day, we spent a little over a quarter of a tank in gas. Which probably, and by the way, we were driving a car that gets 28.2 miles per gallon. Side note.
You definitely have to choose the right vehicle.
We did not take my minivan.
You don't want to pick a gas guzzler.
No, because my minivan's gas is almost twice as much. So the gas, like I said, was a little over a quarter of a tank. But what struck me about that is that Rick actually commutes to his job every single day. Every single day that Rick works, he spends a quarter of a tank of gas every day. So to me, I actually thought we would spend more gas than he spends on going to his regular job. And it was actually comparable. We spent, and I know this because before we went, we filled up the tank. And then after we drove, we knew what the difference was to refill it up again. You know what I'm saying? To get it back to the top. So it was $15.67 that we spent in gas. Now, gas prices do vary. So I do want to have that caveat. Okay. Speaking of that, let me say that about taxes too. Depending on where you live, there's state taxes. You might have all kinds of different taxes. So it could be different for where you live, but this is just what we have here. So we spent $15.67 on our vehicle with our gas prices. But I will say this, when we went Monday, we did not go to we didn't go to the cheapest gas place because we didn't know that gas was actually cheaper where we were going. And DoorDash has since sent us a card, as they have this Dasher Direct card. And if you use that, you get 10% off of your gas in addition to that. So the gas prices could have been cheaper, but this is what we spent on that first day without the benefit of any of that. Was $15.67. So that brought our total earnings for day one down to $47.73. Okay, if you take off the taxes, you take off the gas. But like I said, when Rick goes to his regular job, they're taking just about the same amount of taxes off, and he's spending just the same amount of gas every single time he goes. And so to me, it was very comparable. So, and the difference is when he normally goes for a day of work, he's working at least 8 hours a day. We only did 3.5 hours. And I think the expense, you would have made more hourly if you could have stretched the expenses. That if we'd have worked an 8-hour day, I think it would have gone further. Does that make sense? You would have had more hourly overall. So
she's really thought this out.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you're so quiet when we were driving. She was thinking. I saw the smoke over top of your head. I should have known you were thinking, you were pondering, you were calculating.
Oh my goodness, it's all I do. So after 3.5 hours at $47.73, the total earnings was $13.64 an hour. Now, some people might think that's not very much money. Some people might feel that $13.64 an hour is not sufficient. However, I want to say a couple of things about that. That is after all the expenses. That's after taxes. That's after gas. And I don't know if you've sat down and looked at your regular job paycheck, what you make. If you actually took out what you pay in taxes and all of your extra expenses and took out the gas after work and looked at what you actually make an hour, you might think you make $22.64 an hour. But what you actually make is $13.64 an hour. And so it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? But you got to compare apples to apples here. You can't say, oh, well, that doesn't seem like very much at my job. I make $18 an hour. Well, yeah, but that's before taxes. So if you're going to compare apples to apples, you have to actually break down your hourly and your gas and all of that. So do you think that's enough to work for? I mean, that's totally up to you. I think everyone should consider that in their own, way, and consider if that's going to be sufficient for you and your family to meet their needs. If you wanted to do it as a full-time gig, I think certainly at the very least, as a part-time job, I definitely, $13 is great pay for a part-time job. Not to mention the fact that you don't have to clock in. You can do it on your own schedule. Whenever you have time, whenever you have energy, whenever you can fit it in. And frankly, let me just break this down. We talked about saving $1,000 in 10 weeks, right? Remember, we had this goal, and that's why we originally even started talking about this. The goal was to save $1,000 in 10 weeks. So you need $100 a week that you put aside. At that rate, at that $13.64 after all of your expenses, you would only need to work 7 hours to make $100. And if you work 7 hours a week, then at the end of 10 weeks, you'll have $1,000 saved, which for a lot of people, saving $1,000 seems impossible. So to have an opportunity to just go out for a couple of hours here and there, to make extra money, to be able to put it aside. By the way, you get this money same day. As soon as you click off your DoorDash, as soon as you're done and your dash is over, it's immediately in your account. No question. So you don't have to wait a week till you get paid. You don't have to back it. And I think for another thing, that's another great thing about it is, Lord forbid something major came up and you absolutely had no money in the bank and you needed $100 that day. Like there was a bill that you'd forgotten about, it was getting ready to get cut off, and it's like, oh, I've got to come up with some money. What a great thing that you can just go out, work, and have $100 in your account, no questions asked, same day.
Yep. And while we were having dinner, I actually brought a point like that up to her.
Mhm.
I said, you know, I was going back in history
Mhm.
of when we had the kids at home and they were babies and all, and young couples and all. You always have those times where you just need $10, you need
Mhm.
$20, maybe either you need milk in the house or your bread, or maybe the cats need cat food. I don't know.
Mhm.
And sometimes you think, well, man, I'm not getting paid for a few days.
Mhm.
And how many times do you walk around your house looking for spare change?
Mhm.
Coinstar, I mean, somebody out there is like, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but somebody, exactly what I'm talking about, looking for spare change in the cushions to see if
No,
you
we've all been there.
go to Coinstar. Well, anyway, sometimes you don't have anything.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's immediately in your, account or
Same
whatever.
day.
So if you ever get in those hot spots where, all right, this is something that you say, well, I'm not going to do this all the time,
Mhm. Mhm.
but it's good just to be on the list,
Mhm.
to have that door open. That all of a sudden, if you have one of those days like, man, I need $20, I need $30, what do I do?
Mhm.
Well, get in the car, go
Exactly.
make a couple of deliveries, and before you know it, you'll have what you need.
Yep.
So I just think, just for that, it's a good hook in the water. It's a good you're fine. It's a good thing just to have available to you.
Mhm. Now, I see you guys have some questions. I am going to answer them by all means. If you have questions, or comments, even put them in the chat. And we are going to get to them, but I'm already over my 15 minutes and I want to cover insurance, because folks had asked about insurance, and I did actually call my insurance company.
See, she's just not winging it.
I called my
she's getting the
insurance company
specifics.
and I asked them if they cover DoorDash for insurance. And the answer to that is no. My car insurance company on our personal vehicles do not cover accidents that are due to you being in door dashing. That's not something that's part of their regular coverage. However, and if I could get this to load up, there we go. I had it all set up, and then the second I go live, it decides not to load. However, here's something that you should know. DoorDash provides insurance coverage. Okay, this is from the DoorDash website. It says DoorDash provides auto insurance for dashers, but this insurance applies only to accidents when using a motor vehicle on an active delivery. The insurance applies only after the dasher goes through their own auto insurance policy first. So they do want you to go through your insurance if you can. And for the coverage to apply, you have to be liable, because obviously if you're not liable, then it doesn't need to go through DoorDash, whoever, it's their liability. Mm-hmm. And your auto policy has to deny the claim, and then they will cover it. And also, I want you to be aware of this. I just got to click through to this other thing here. They say DoorDash has a commercial auto insurance policy that covers up to $1 million in bodily injury or property damage to third parties arising out of accidents while on active delivery. So they do have a policy that covers that if your auto policy does not. However, I will tell you this one caveat, that I am not an insurance or legal expert. I do not know you or your state or your current situation, because there are different laws in different places. So I want to encourage you, if this is something that you're considering, call your insurance person and find out where you live, what's required of you if you are going to be involved in DoorDash. But for us, that coverage is sufficient. But there's plenty more to consider. But for us, we don't need additional coverage between DoorDash and our regular auto insurance policy. We are covered. Mm-hmm. So there's that. So we don't have to pay any extra. That's why there weren't any extra insurance expenses in that list that I gave you. But again, that's for our situation. You want to consider your situation and make sure you understand, what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get back to the questions here. Mystery World, you're a little behind. We said we were going to cover that in 15 minutes. So go ahead and scroll back, and you can watch the first little bit and you can see what we thought of that. So let's see. Scrolling back here to get the questions. Did I receive tips from customers? We received tips from everyone for the last 2 days that we've done it, except for one person. One person did not give us a tip. I highly suspect that one person was a child.
Yeah, because of what they got.
We had to leave it at the door. So I don't know. I didn't see them. But I think that's why they didn't leave a tip. But at the same time, when you accept each dash, they give you a total, and you know how many miles you're driving, and you know what DoorDash is going to pay at minimum for that dash. And so we already knew the total that we were getting, and based on that total and the miles that we were driving, we decided that it was worth it. And so it didn't matter that there was a tip or no tip. You know, it was fine at the price that we were given. So, but yeah, I will say this about tips. I'm going to say this about tips. We have always been supportive of generous tipping. We are generous tippers. We are cheap people, frugal, but we tip generously because we know that people who get paid tips, it is part of their income. And if you go to a place where a tip is expected, then that is part of the cost. You know, you don't go to a restaurant and say, oh, well, I can't afford to leave a tip. No, if you can't afford to leave a tip, you don't go to the restaurant because you can't afford that restaurant. You understand what I'm saying? A tip is something that's, in our opinion, a given.
Oh, sure.
Here, you know, I understand some of you guys are in different countries, but here in the U.S.,
it's part of the bill.
Yes, it is. It needs to be part of it. And so we've always encouraged that. We made sure our children understood that, period. And so I think that has come back to us now that people are tipping graciously, and I'm thankful for it. But you appreciate tips more when you do rely on it. So
yeah, this is going to make it sound like I wasn't even in the car, but until this very moment, it didn't even hit me, the tip thing. I know we discussed it the last 2 times, but it just did not hit me because I've never worked a job where I had tips. So I guess Monday was the first time ever in my entire life that I got tipped. Well, and that's Mark, put that one down in the journal.
But you know, like the biggest tip that we got was on the first day. And it was one of the shortest trips that we took. But they did have a big order, but it was one of the shortest trips that we took. And they were not, it was not a fancy house. You know, we went to some fancy places. This was not a fancy one. This was just a regular family. And, you know, you understood that they weren't, you know, so rich that they're just throwing money out the window. You know, they're just being considerate of the fact that they ordered this big order. And they knew it was going to take a lot of work to get, even though it wasn't a far drive, it was going to take a lot of work to get there.
It's the house is the one that's up the hill.
Yes, and it also did have a odd drive.
She brought up that maybe they tipped, they gave a large tip just because of the driveway. It was straight up.
It was kind of scary.
I'm not trying to be, you know, scaredy cat, but it was one of those roller coaster moments. You know what I mean?
It was a little frightening.
Yeah, it's like.
And then going back down the hill.
We're in a little car. It's not like a truck that can scale a mountain. and all of a sudden the car's going straight up. And it's not, the pavement was kind of broken. So it's not a smooth ride up either. You're bouncing. We're going straight up, bouncing on loose gravel and concrete or blacktop. And it was real tight. So to get out of that driveway, it was like not a 3-point turn, but it was like a 50-point turn.
Yeah.
You know, you had to keep going.
Well, it was a little bit more than 3, but it wasn't.
So anyway, all that just to say, perhaps they had done DoorDash before, and they knew that, you know, that to get people up there, even the gate was tricky.
Yes,
you know?
They had a tricky gate as well.
So,
let's see. Gravity Shade 1 says if you're in a busy city, you could bike and save even more gas. So that's true. We didn't, you know, in terms of the spending that we did, you know,
we see us on some bikes. Gravity Shade 1. See us on some bike. One of those bikes with the two-seaters.
Ain't
What do you
gonna
think?
be us.
Huh? And a horn.
Um,
Oh my, that's something. That's classic.
that's what I was gonna say. We actually drove, like we could have spent less on gas.
Yeah.
We could have done DoorDash closer to home. But the first day it was Rick's day off, and we decided we were going to go to another city to like do some things.
Yeah.
And so we were going in that direction, and so we went a little further out. We could have spent less on gas if we didn't go as far.
Day off, but we were working.
Yeah.
See, it's hashtag day off dash on. Hashtag day off dash on. You know?
Diane says, in a rural area, it may not work, but you're in a town with lots of restaurants. It's a great idea. Now, I will say this. A lot of the places we went today were not even restaurants. We went to Dollar General twice. We went to Advanced Auto Parts. We went to Petco. Like today's dashing wasn't even really restaurants. So, it just depends on what you have the ability to do.
But I do admit to a point, if you want to be busy, and if you don't want to spend a lot of gas, if you just want, to make something in a hurry and not drive too far, then you really have to find the busiest area and just immerse yourself.
Yeah.
Just park and stay in that general bubble, because I think that's when you stay busy, because we got out a little further today and we were driving a lot, but we had fewer orders.
Yeah.
And Monday we were kind of more in like a little circle.
Yeah.
And we were getting sometimes 2 orders at a time.
Yeah, we're still new, so we're still like learning all the details, like where is a good place, where is not a good place. So I think that's expected when you're new at something like that.
So just go where the people are.
Kelly says, would I be comfortable dashing solo? At first I would have said no, but I actually feel a little more comfortable. I think he's still going to say no. But I actually don't think it would be that bad. Obviously, it depends on where you are. I mean, that makes a big difference. But 90% of the places want you just to leave it at their door. You don't even interact with anyone.
I would say a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You don't have to interact. It may shock you. But you do have to be willing, because today there was more interaction. I kind of suspect that we're not really DoorDash customers, even though we're doing it now as the dasher, I guess. But we have been customers for DoorDash here and there. The kids, when they were at home, did it a couple times, and I have a daughter who did DoorDash a couple times here.
Yep.
And she always asked me if I would go handle it, go out
she
and
would
get
want
it.
him to go to the door.
And I'm not saying, I don't really know all the details, but by being a dasher now, I understand that you are given the information at the end of what they want. And many times, like you said, it's to leave it at the door and just go. So
they don't even want you to ring the bell.
So I'm bringing that up because what I'm thinking is, I think it was when they were here, I didn't know the rules or the etiquette. And as soon as I saw somebody in the driveway, I was outside and not just standing there patiently. I'm walking right up to the car before they even put it in park. I'm standing there at the window, and a couple of times it seemed like I scared them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What are you scared about?"
I
had one. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I had one lady, and I mean, it's me. I'm not trying to be intimidating. I knew she was coming, but she cracked her window a little bit and asked me to back up. I was too close to the car. I was like, hey, I just want a sandwich. No threat here, but like I said, it's the dashing etiquette, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying all that to say this. I would say more than half are very happy and content with you just leaving it and going. So anyway, what do you want to say?
So when it comes to whether or not I'd be comfortable doing it, I actually am feeling more open to it. I don't know that I would do it just yet. Again, it would depend on where. Kelly said nice neighborhood. Yeah, I definitely think the right place would make it a difference. But in the end, it really doesn't, because I mean, there can be just as many bad people in a good neighborhood as a bad neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's just
I think it's doable to do it by yourself, but I do think, I honestly think the ideal situation would be a team.
true. Mhm.
I told my wife, I think Monday, and I think I mentioned it today. It's kind of, it gave me a feeling of what it would be like on The Amazing Race.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
You
he
know the
said.
show Amazing Race. Sometimes, I mean, we were just like racing from here to there, doing
This activity, that
So
activity.
I just think a team makes sense.
Mhm.
And you have one driving, you have one handing off the food. You kind of do back and forth, and depending on the size of the order, opening car doors and everything. Yeah, it just makes sense to have two. One person, I think, definitely can do it, but two people, I think, is the ideal. And I'll even go a step further. I think a husband and wife team is best.
Mhm.
And I'll say this because you don't really know necessarily who you're going to meet.
Mhm.
And I think two guys driving around might seem intimidating.
Mhm.
Two ladies driving around might it may be dangerous for them. But a husband and wife, I mean, you're pretty much prepared for anything.
Mhm.
If you meet a lady at the door, the wife can take care of it. If you meet a gentleman at the door, the husband can take care of it, and more or less, back and forth.
Mhm.
If there's an angry dog, the husband can take it for the wife, or the wife can take it for the husband. Either way. So I just think it's a good and also it's like couple building. You know what I mean?
It was.
Huh?
I do think that was a great benefit, because it
I mean,
felt
we're
like.
empty nesters. We need activities, folks. Hashtag dash love.
Oh no, please no dash love. Um,
Come on.
I will say it did feel like
Uh,
compared to The Amazing Race, it did feel like we were on an adventure together. Like we were just doing all of this stuff at the same time. So it was a lot of fun in that regard. And plus, you know, we've we're not really shy about going to people's houses overall. You know what I mean? We're not going to be foolish and just, be silly about going to people's houses. But we're not shy about, if we needed to knock on someone's door or whatever. We've done a lot of stuff over the years with ministry where we've gone door to door and invited people to church or invited people to like BBS or something. And so we've canvassed neighborhoods a million times. And so we're not, I think other people who haven't done that might be more intimidated by it. We aren't terribly intimidated by that.
you just have to know, that word etiquette again.
Yeah.
Just be respectful. If they have a sidewalk, go up the sidewalk. Don't cut through the grass and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Be polite, respectful, and it all goes well.
They do have a customer rating system, and that's important. So, you don't want to do anything that's going to be offensive. Like there was one place that I went today. Let me tell you something. I know this is kind of unrelated, but kind
She's
of
gonna
related.
vent,
Dollar General.
rant.
Have you guys done Dollar General
Hashtag
couponing?
DG rant.
All right. Dollar General has this thing that for whatever reason they like to cut off all internet access in their store. If you
So
go
you
in their
buffer
store.
endlessly.
Yeah, because they don't want you to go in there and search for that. They want you to be prepared before you come in the store, because I guess people were looking up stuff online or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so every time you go in a Dollar General, you can't get internet access. And the problem is that with DoorDash,
It's slow anyhow.
With DoorDash, and if people order things at Dollar General, you have to scan the barcodes before you can go to the register and pay for the items, which you don't pay for it with your money. DoorDash sends you a card and you pay for it with their card, and then you take it out. But we were there for we were there forever trying to get enough internet to be able to just scan the items so we could leave. I ended up having to go outside of the store, come back in just to kind of, I guess, reset the internet access. And then, oh my word, it's such a pain.
Meanwhile, I had the items in a basket.
And he's just standing at the front.
I'm standing at the front trying not to look creepy.
I had to call the customer.
Wife jumped ship.
The customer was literally 1 mile away, and I had to call them and say, hey, first of all, they didn't even have one of the items that was on their list. I'm like, hey, do you want this alternative item, which they agreed to? And I was like, and by the way, I'm having a little issue with Dollar General's internet. We're trying to get it. I have all of your items. I'm just working on trying to get it accessed. As soon as it's ready, I will get that to you. So if you just give me a couple minutes. And she was very sweet about it. But you have to in terms of customer service, you just have to let people know. You know, they're waiting. They want to know. Monday, the very last one we had was at a nursing home. And DoorDash had given us multiple orders. And so the gentleman who was waiting at the nursing home facility had called us, and he was like, it said that you were going to be here a little earlier, but now it's saying you're going to be here a little later. And I didn't even realize that DoorDash had notified him of anything. Like, I just thought they were giving me the route.
He was concerned.
Yeah. So I apologized. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that they told you that. They gave me another order to go get. And so I'm just going in the order that they're sending me. And I told them at that time, I was going to be 6 minutes.
I mentioned this in the video yesterday. The confusion kind of when you have multiple, several orders at one time.
Well, I wasn't confused about what I was doing.
I didn't know what was going on. I had the sweaty palms.
I knew what was going on. I just didn't know that they told him.
No, I was jumping. I didn't know what was going on.
But
I thought they were going to pull the rug out. This is done. This is over. We're going to DoorDash jail. You know?
No.
Huh?
But what was I going to say? Oh, so
nursing home.
I was like, I'll be there in 6 minutes, and he was like, okay, and he was fine as long as he knew, but he was just waiting, and I kind of felt bad about that. But by the way, my mom and my daughter are here in the chat. If everybody wants to say hi to Janie and Brianna. So I will say this. Somebody else said it. It was in the chat and I saw it. Let me scroll back here and see who said it. So, and I think it was Cat Lover. Was it Cat Lover? Yeah, she said she used to work at a child care, and the teachers paid to have the food delivered because they couldn't leave. And it wasn't until we actually went to that nursing home facility that I kind of realized how important a service it is to have it available. Because I always thought of it as something like the kids did.
Just something for amusement.
Yeah, when the kids wanted a snack or junk, whatever, and they couldn't leave the house or couldn't do this. I never really thought of it in terms of it being needful. And when we delivered it to the gentleman in the nursing facility, and we had to actually take it back to his room, and he was all the way in the back of the nursing facility. So you had to walk through the nursing home all the way to the back to get to him. And Rick and I have done nursing home ministry. We did it for years. We were at the nursing home every week for years, but it's been a few years since we've been to one. And it just reminded me of the people there and how often they're lonely and they need, companionship, and they need people to visit them, and how it doesn't seem like much delivering food. But we even said, we were like, if that person had wanted to talk, he didn't particularly seem like he wanted to talk.
No, he wanted to eat.
Yeah, but we were like, if it had been the right time, right opportunity, we absolutely would have stayed and talked to him. And we just thought, it was such a good ministry in a way, in that regard, that you can connect with people who maybe can't get out. You know what I mean? There's really opportunity there if you look at it in that way, that it can be beneficial. There's the job aspect of it, but then you also can kind of really see it as a service and how you're really helping people who really do have needs. I mean, some of it was, people getting junk food, but some of it was people getting things for their pets or, I don't even know. Or so many different things.
Or even just food, dinner or so, or lunch. Yeah. Observation. What I noticed with just the items that people get nowadays, grown-ups are still content to get dinner. Kids, junk food. That's what I noticed. Because all the junk food items that we were picking up, for the ones that we saw that would come out and get the items, were kids. But the grown-ups, like the one you mentioned in the nursing home, they were the ones getting actual meals and everything. Does that mean anything that I'm bringing up? No, it's just an observation. The kids still are hooked on the sugar. You gotta be careful.
So are some adults.
Yeah.
Kristen says she has a customer she shops for 2 times a week. She always helps him put it away and chats with him.
That's
And
nice.
he appreciates it and makes her feel good that she can help in that way.
That's nice.
And she's also a DoorDasher.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think if you were doing it regularly, you probably would get to know some of the people on the route. And that gentleman at the nursing facility, it seemed like he did it a lot. So maybe if we were doing it more often, there might be opportunity to.
Yeah,
to talk
because
to him.
when we went in, we had to check in at the front desk, and they knew right where to go.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine he does do it a lot.
Mom asked if we're going to continue to do this. And we mentioned it earlier, but I will say, Rick said at least one more time. He said he's not committed to making it a permanent part of our lives. But we've enjoyed it, and so we're definitely going to go again. We don't know how long we'll do it or if we'll do anything else.
Yeah, I'm not committed to getting the matching polo shirts yet.
No.
But if we keep it up, I told her, I said we're going to uniform this thing. It may not say DoorDash or anything, but matching like red polos or something, huh?
We match all
you
the
know what I
time
mean?
anyway.
Huh?
That's just our
maybe some
regular life.
sort of little like siren for the car or something.
No siren.
No, because by saying that it is the official Dash vehicle, huh?
I don't know about that.
Because there was a brief time in my history that I worked. I have to make sure I say the word worked at a jail.
Yes.
Okay, I worked there, and I remember seeing the officers come and go in their cars, things, and they would always wash them up and clean them up and everything.
You were an officer,
huh? Well, I know I was an officer, but I'm trying to downplay it. I was Officer Bealles. I was Officer Bealles, yes. But anyway, so they had their cars all nice and detailed and cleaned and all that, and just sleek and slick and everything. And I was thinking, like, to take this thing up a notch, have uniforms, slick the car kind of deal, and actually go out. Like, you know what I mean? So you got these dashers, yeah. And everybody said, well, I want those dashers. You know what I mean? The ones in uniform. Huh?
Maybe the clothes,
Officer
not the car,
Dash.
not the car.
Officer Dash. Huh?
Kelly said, doesn't that take away Rick's days off? The answer to that is yes. So we even agreed that if we were going to do it on his days off, because he has 2 days off in a week, obviously, like most people. We're only going to do it on
But
one of his
it
days
doesn't
off.
really take away from it. I mean, you're riding around in a little compact car with the lady that you love. I mean, what's better than that? All the quick stops and the little herky jerky stuff. I mean, that's almost like flirting. What do you think? Huh? Yeah, never mind.
Say about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kathy said, thank you for sharing some side hustles. I tell you, Kathy, I have been thinking, this has actually got me very excited because there are a lot of other side hustles I'd really like to try my hand at just to see, and maybe just do a bunch of side hustles.
You gonna spring stuff on me?
Not necessarily you, but like other stuff. Like, for instance, we had talked the other day about, or not the other day, it's been a few weeks, maybe even a couple months now, about eBay.
Yeah.
And I don't need you for that. I can handle that on my own, but I need to make a video on that, right? And because I do think that there are a lot of things that you can just do in your spare time. Like, for instance, just take a couple hours while you're out on your day off with your spouse. You could do DoorDash. While you're at home in the evening, you could, do a little eBay. There's a lot of things that you could do, and they're little things. And if you need some extra money, little by little, it'll all add up. And you'd be surprised at how much extra you can come up with. That's why they're called side hustles, because you're hustling on the side. But, what else are we doing in our spare time? You know what I mean? Sitting on the internet. I mean, watch YouTube. But you can watch YouTube while you sell your eBay stuff. You know what I mean? But just sitting and vegging out all the time.
A hustling dasher.
That's nothing that's gonna build you up or help your family. So I think this was I think really honestly, I really enjoy DoorDash. I like doing it with you.
Yeah.
I like the ease of it. I like the quick pay of it.
Yeah, with your husband.
Yeah, I like
the love hustle. Come on. That would be our nicknames when we're out there.
No,
huh?
No.
Here they come.
No.
Hustle and dash.
No.
That's our, that's our DoorDash names.
No.
Hustle and Dash.
Ella said they've been doing, I guess, DoorDash for
Oh.
about 3 months and they love it.
Really?
Girl, I
That's
did not know
wonderful.
that. I am glad y'all are doing that.
What are your nicknames?
No,
Ours are Hustle and
no,
Dash.
it's not our nickname.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Let us know if you have any other questions about DoorDash. Did we pick up Japanese for dinner? No, we did not. I would have loved to. Rick actually has so many allergies.
I know.
Right now.
Man, I love the smell of Asian food, but I just have to be careful until I actually do the whole allergy test and know exactly what's making me have trouble here and there.
Yeah.
I'm just very careful. I'm taken to a very plain diet.
Yeah, there's very limited Asian places because believe it or not, a lot of them serve nuts, particularly peanuts, and he is very allergic to them. So we really just have to watch where he goes. Let's see. Okay, Kelly was talking about some options. She said a good stay-at-home job is closed captioning for TV or movies if you're computer savvy. I've never heard of that, but I will look into that as an option. All right, is there anything else you want to say about DoorDash? Like any stories you want to tell or anything about the last couple of days?
No. I think we covered it. I don't know. People are kind of curious about it, I guess.
Yeah, I was trying to think, are there any fun stories that
I don't know of any that we haven't already discussed.
Today we went to a gated neighborhood with an armed guard, and he would not let us pass the gate. The people.
That was a little.
That person had to come to the gate.
That I wasn't prepared for that.
And pick up the things.
He approached the car like we were getting ready to get the whole takedown, and I had to remind him, this is Officer Dash.
Oh, so I'm Hustle.
And Hustle. Huh?
I'm Hustle.
No, I'm Hustle.
Officer Dash.
No, you're the Dash. Okay. So who's Hustle? You're Hustle. That sounds right. I'm Officer Dash. You're
Officer
Hustle.
Dash and Hustle. Oh my goodness.
But he didn't seem to care.
No, he did not. He did
No.
not. I'm like, what looks more innocent than me?
Exactly. Yeah, I was like,
I am non-threatening.
We're YouTubers.
Well, we didn't have the camera then.
Oh, that would have freaked him out.
Yeah, that would have.
Oh, don't mind my husband. He's vlogging. He's vlogging your gated community here. No, nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah, we didn't vlog today, but let us know if you guys seem to have enjoyed it. If we go again, we will try to vlog it for you. So yeah, there is that. we could vlog that again since you guys enjoyed it, and also any other side hustles that we do.
Any kind of thoughts that I had, I just had a bunch of random things I put down in notes for people that may be thinking about going out and trying something like this, things to like to deal with, pros and cons and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you've already mentioned it, but I think you did. But like we had the one. So still to this day, and I've already done DoorDash, but even when you say DoorDash, I automatically, because it's in there, think about just picking up food, taking it to someone's house.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hit me really that we would be shopping and going to actual stores and not just restaurants. But the idea that we went to the one
mm-hmm. and
it was closed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this was early.
Oh yeah, we went to one store. They sent us to Petco.
Yeah, and there was a sign on the door, this is because of, the times that we're living in and that places can't get employees and because of staffing and all. They had a sign on the door that said because of staffing or whatever, I'm paraphrasing, mm-hmm. that they were closed. Mm-hmm. And so they had already closed down early for the day. Mm-hmm. And now I was like, oh, what do you do?
So then we had to contact them and say the store was closed.
And that was a little aggravating.
But no, it was
a hassle.
It was the best thing we had today because it was actually supposed to be a really long drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we took it because it was actually quite a lot of pay.
Oh, yeah, but bring that up, yes.
And so we were only a mile from the store, but it was a long drive to their house. But they offered just about triple, maybe even more of what the normal pay was. So it was a lot of pay. So we were like, well, it's a long drive, but it's guaranteed pay. So we'll go ahead and take it. So, so we were going to do it. We got to the store was closed. we only drove a mile to the store, and they paid us like almost $9 just to drive that 1 mile to the store that was closed, and we didn't even have to do anything.
So it's not like we got nothing out of it.
Mm-mm.
So that's good that the DoorDash folks
Very
still
fair of them.
take care of you.
Very, very fair of them.
But just so that's one of the little hiccups that you have to deal with. Possible places closing, and then you've got to deal with the customer and like, what do we do now? And you have to take care of that.
Jody said, will you continue doing this? And we said yes, at least one more time. We don't know if it's going to be permanent, but we will.
Yeah.
Gwen said, have we gotten an insulated bag? Yes, we have.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and read.
Pros and cons, another thing that you have to deal with, especially when you're in like city area. Perhaps you pick something up and you're trying to find a location, an address, and sometimes addresses are not clear. We had to go to a car dealership garage thing today, a service center. And if it said go to the service center, it'd have been so much easier. But it just gives a number and everything. And you're driving around like, where in the world is this place? I mean, you're driving in circles. And that can get kind of frustrating. So you have to, if you do this, you have to really make sure that take a deep breath and really find some patience and just calm down and just, because it's like the Amazing Race. You got to hunt for that clue. You know what I mean? So
Kathy said, did you find hidden tips? We did get some extra tips that we weren't aware of. So that was nice. Vicky said, if you're making extra money for your trip to see Ricky, or you're going to fly or drive, definitely fly. It's not even, Mom said it's cheaper. It's not even that it's cheaper. It's just less time.
Yeah.
We have limited time.
Pros and cons, though. You brought up Ricky.
Oh, that is a pro.
Do you know if you're a DoorDasher, you can DoorDash pretty much anywhere you go. If
we went to California, we decided DoorDash, we could.
Exactly.
I mean, we'd have to check with the local insurance laws and all of that. But in terms of DoorDash, they'll let you do it anywhere.
We went to see your family in Maryland, went to see my family in Virginia. We could hang out with them during the afternoon and evening, dash in the morning. You know what I mean?
So you don't have to worry about losing pay.
So I mean, it's kind of neat. I mean, if you need to take some time off to go see somebody because of an emergency or something, you're like, well, how am I going to pay for the gas up and pay for the gas back? Well, if you're a dasher, you can think, well, I have enough to get there, and then I can dash while I'm there, so I can get home, kind of deal. So it's very it can get you out of maybe a bad situation. It's convenient.
Gravity Shade says you can't do it in California, anywhere but California. Pretty sure anywhere. All right, maybe not California, but I know that there are a lot of dashers that I've seen and know about that have done it in multiple states. They travel and do it. So, like I said, check the laws wherever you're going, so you know for sure.
Pros and cons. Like I said, I brought up earlier weather. If it's sunny and wonderful, that's great, but only 10% of the year is like that. 99, or 90% of the year, it's not so nice. Today, we got into some rain. And when you're a husband and wife team, see, if you're by yourself, you're going to have to get out and do it. Okay. But if you, this was my opportunity to be said gentleman. We pull up to a house, and the lady was actually in the doorway waiting for us to show up. And I said to the wife, I said, I got this. Rain coming down. I mean, it was coming down in buckets. You know what I mean? I was soaked from head to toe. Exactly. I know, I'll take it. And so I ran it to her. And I said, here you go, and I got back in the car, and I tell you, the look on my wife's face was priceless. She knew she had a good one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
Cheeky Saver says, would that work for van lifers, people who live in vans? I don't see why not. I mean, I don't think it matters what you drive, but again, you should check where you are. Kathy says, my husband and I started during lockdown because we were bored. It's a good reason.
I like it.
A lot of people lost money, but you didn't.
And just like you said, if you're not used to walking up to people's doors and stuff, just prepare yourself just for little things that you just get used to. Like we walked up to one door Monday, and there were just curtains and everything. You didn't see anything, but There was a big dog
Big dog.
in the kitchen, and it knew we were there.
It ran up to the window.
And when I put the food down, yeah, it ran right to the window, into the window, barking and everything. And it had one of those barks that just shook the house, you know? And I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you, my stomach flip-flopped, but I kept, stone face. Don't let them see you sweat, you know? But you just have to be prepared for stuff like that. Although the dog the dog was all right. Saw a cat too.
Yes, we did.
The cat probably would do more damage to you than the dog. The cat looked
If
like
you
one of
mess
them
with
old
it.
tomcats
Yeah.
kind of deal. So, and you know what? I remember, like my wife talked about when we used to do a lot of door-to-door ministry and everything. And I remember walking up to a house one time, and there was a big old snake, alive and well in the sun.
Yep.
You know, and just those kind of things. I'm sure there are dashers who've experienced that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of gotta just prepare yourself for things like that. Don't let it shake you. Just keep on rolling.
As long as I don't see a bear,
Mm-hmm.
which is a possibility here in West North Carolina. Let's see. Coupon Therapy says she'd like us to make another DoorDash. Well, thank you. She also said we'd like a breath of fresh air. So thank you for that. Did you go in places to pick up, or did they bring it out to you? You have to go in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go in and get it, which is actually good.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting so long. It's actually good to get in and out. I was actually surprised. I've been monitoring how many steps I'm doing every day. I'm trying to up my number of steps I do in a day. And the first day we did DoorDash, I hadn't done anything in the morning. I hadn't really done any steps at all. And so at the end of the 3.5 hours, I looked at my steps because I was like, man, like I bet I don't even have, 1,000 steps. Like in my mind, it didn't seem like I'd moved very much at all. But I looked and it was almost 4,000 steps, which, I mean, it's not a tremendous amount, but it was 3.5 hours. And that was pretty steady. It was much, much better than I thought. Plus it's getting in and out of the car. So it was like squatting. So we were actually very sore after the first day for only 3.5 hours.
I know. Talk about pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
If you're someone that likes to drive, you're in a car a lot, that's something that you enjoy. I got a brother who's a truck driver kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
You like that kind of thing, then this will be right up your alley. If you, it could cause a little bit of soreness.
Mm-hmm.
That hopefully, I mean, today it wasn't as bad.
No.
Today I think my body's just toughened up a little bit for it.
And we didn't do as much.
But Monday, when it was all over with in the lower back,
mm-hmm.
It was kind of like, oof, But today wasn't so bad. So that's a con, definitely. But anyhow,
well, it's
a little thing.
It's a pro. It's a good thing because I mean, if
lower
you
back
are,
pain.
No.
It's a good thing.
Exercise. Because you might be concerned about sitting in the car all day that you're not getting any.
You are getting it out,
but
lot.
Getting in and out is actually something.
That is true. You are getting in and out. I think. And also I think the back pain. Where we were was a lot of ups and downs, hilly and everything, and it was just a lot of herky jerky stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of added to the tension on the back.
Yeah. Hogan Homestead, we're finishing up. So if you want to head back, it was about the 16-minute mark. We talked about car insurance. If you want to head back to that, you can see. Mom said the more you do it, you'll feel better and get used to it.
I'm sure of that.
Kelly said, just think if you ordered and you were going through Cat Town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's got to be intimidating. People, you have no idea when people roll. Sometimes I'm embarrassed when people roll up to our house and see all those cats outside.
Sometimes I'll leave the house or walk out of the house to go to the car or something, and a neighbor will drive by and they slow down because I know what they're looking at.
The cats.
We got all these lazy cats just laying all over the place, and I look at them like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, especially at night when the porch light's on and we're feeding them.
Yeah.
I tell you, you can't even see the concrete.
Cheeky Saver said, I talked to a delivery lady and she parks by groups of restaurants, so she gets the first call and it's fast. Yeah, we have found an area that we like, and I prefer to go back and sit in that general area if I can to get the dash things there. But I think anybody, as you get going, they have these things called hotspots, and they'll direct you to a hotspot so that you're in a place where you can get more dashes, I guess they're called.
I actually thought Monday when we started that we going in these businesses to get the stuff for the people, that we would go in and it would be a lot more hassle,
Mhm.
a lot more of them looking at you like, who are you? What do you want? What's
They're
going
used
on?
to it now.
I was not aware of how used to it the businesses are.
Yeah, they're like DoorDash. Here you
Yeah,
go.
it is new to us, but it's not new to them, and they were very cool with it. In fact, I'm kind of shocked at how quick that part of the whole thing is. Sometimes the longest thing is just finding the address. Yeah, but that's not even that long, but it's longer than getting the stuff. You can just go right in. Many times they have, when you have to do it like at the Dollar General where we shopped, then it takes a few extra minutes. But most places you go in, you grab it, you go. It is like that quick. It kind of shocked me.
I think it is helpful that I'm really good at grocery shopping.
You are.
I mean, I'm just saying I can find
You
it.
can find the stuff. We were in Dollar General today.
I know
and
a Dollar
I'm going to
General.
be honest with you.
I know it like the back of my hand.
It was like we were running the sweep. It was like supermarket sweep. Yeah. Yeah.
Officer Dash and Hustle on the supermarket sweep.
Yeah. Here they are, Hustle and Dash. They won the sweep.
Y'all imagine us on supermarket sweep.
Which one's Hustle again?
I'm Hustle.
You're Hustle. I'm Dash.
You look like a Dash.
Thank you. I got my hair cut for today's Dash.
Yeah, I trimmed it up.
I said I gotta get all the officer look.
Wow. That's because we're going to be going on vacation here soon, and had to get him all trimmed up for that. So, anyway, all right. Well, we're done with our hour. So, if you guys have any other questions, you can leave them in the comments, and we will try to answer those for you. But I hope this was helpful to you. And we do plan, if we go out again, we will make another vlog video, and you guys can see because Rick loved doing that. And we'll see what other kind of side hustles we can try and make videos on. So because we are trying to save money. We know you guys are trying to save money. And I also, when we go on vacation, I also want to make a video telling you about how we're saving money on that too, because we're trying to do that as cheaply as possible.
Yeah, you used you mentioned tonight's live in the video that you uploaded. Take a moment if someone just clicked on to watch the live, but you haven't actually seen the video.
Yeah. Go back and watch.
Yeah, there is actually, well, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, she put up a video of us vlogging while we were dashing the first time on Monday. This past Monday, actually. New vlog.
All right, everyone. Thank y'all for joining us. And we're going to try to be back here next Wednesday. Who knows what we'll be doing? No, we won't. No, we won't. We won't be back here next Wednesday. Might be the Wednesday after that. But keep an eye out. We'll let you know when we're going to be live, and we're going to keep sharing our adventures with you. And, that's what we do now. We're empty nesters on adventures.
That's a YouTube channel.
That is called the Bealles. That's what we do.
I don't know the Bealles. I know Dash and Hustle.
We're the Bealles.
Hustle with a muscle.
AKA.
Huh?
No, it's not Hustle with a muscle. I'm a girl.
Dash and the Flash. What? Oh, yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm the muscle. Hustle.
If I could keep him from putting his foot in his mouth every 5 seconds, we'd be all right.
My.
This is why we got to watch our live events. Anyway, you all have a good night.
Absolutely.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
And
we look forward to spending some more time with you next time. We'll see you then.
Good night, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.